Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Nordic Championship. We just had a pretty good game to start us off between Nordic and Orlando, but we are moving on to game 2 of the day. It's going to be Dusty versus Bifrost. Orcs, what are you making of this game?
So I think based on current form, Dusty far ahead, but they are currently running with their coach as their mid laner. Allegiance is away, so they're running with them. Which does mean that they're going to be a little bit weaker than their current form. And Bifrost are a team who... inconsistent is the word to define them. They have beaten Singularity, they've beaten Vipers, and yet they find themselves middle of the pack. Slightly below that even now, 4 and 6. And it just feels like they have a lot of variations, a lot of versatility in what they can play. We saw last week they tried to play a poke composition. The theory was there, the execution wasn't. I think that's the biggest issue for them, is that they have these great theories that have sometimes been able to beat the top teams, but they just aren't able to execute. And it means like maybe they're trying too many things. And now that we're getting close to playoffs, they need these wins desperately, especially up against Dusty, who are 2 wins ahead of them. If they win this one, they close that gap quite considerably. If they lose it, it extends it. They need to sort of find what works for us right now.
It's really about honing in on what you're going to do to get yourself into the playoffs and, you know, maybe further if you can. So the Bifrost, I have to see exactly what they're going to do. Be heading into picks and bans momentarily. And where do you think the attention's going to go? Do you think we're just going to get the sub banned out and just put into a losing matchup, or do you think there are higher priorities for these teams?
I don't think you need to focus too much on them in sort of draft. In game, sure, absolutely, you can look to challenge him. Legions is normally a brick wall for the team, so not having him there is going to be a hit. And although Dem does have competitive experience as a jungler, that's obviously not mid lane, and that was quite a while ago, so won't offer as much in comparison to Legions, who was one of the big performers for the team. So essentially, I could fully see them putting him onto a sort of a strong mid laner that can just do its thing, like Ornn. Ornn would be a great example of something that can hold its own in the mid lane. You wouldn't have to try too hard on, and the team could play around that. We'll have to see how that goes when it comes to draft.
Okay, well, we'll just be loading into Pick and Bans nice and soon. It has started up, so we'll keep you posted on what's going on there in a second. All right, so... what are Bifrost looking to do? What is their kind of... who are we looking at on Bifrost's side?
So I think there's no specific member. I think every member of this team has had their moment. I think the problem is we needed them to find it. It comes down to composition. Find a composition you can play comfortably, isn't too hard to execute, but does well against Dusty. And It sounds like a big ask, but Bifrost have shown that they can do that against the top teams, but they need to start doing that against the teams in front of them. And right now, it's Dusty.
All right, well, we're in to picks and bans. We've had the Karthus, the Gragas taken away from the side of Bifrost, followed up by the Ornn, and then Dusty. They banned away the Riven, they banned away the Draven, so really focusing in on those comfort picks for Bifrost, and we'll see what their last ban is going to be. Now, you're saying that Legions is kind of like the brick wall, you kind of that steady, sturdy member here for the side of Dusty. Eyes for me are turning towards coincidence here, because in some of the games that have been very close to them winning, or they've won off the back of him just being a split push monster. So maybe if he can get his hands on something like the Yorick again and look just to play in that side lane. We'll have to find out though. So Syndra gets banned away here and an instant pickup by Bifrost onto the Senna.
Yeah, sort of going back to the first week of the Nordic Championship when we saw Senna first picked super consistently. Fasting Senna's returned. It's really strong and teams are looking to play it quite a bit. Now, bans that came through, we saw the Gragas, Karthus target away from Joachim, and then that Ornn potentially denied from Dem, although could go in other lanes. And as you said, the target bans and the Syndra. I think the Syndra is a big one to note because it's something that Energy could apply a lot of pressure towards them and make things rough. Right now, we see the Ziggs locked in. So this could go mid, but we have seen Hoyes play in the bot lane to massive success this champion. Huge scaling, huge amount of wave clear. You can essentially leave it alone once it's got past its Ludens, even before then. But at Ludens, it's very hard to even shove the wave into the tower at all. And Thresh works well to sort of mitigate any pressure. It's a pretty solid blind into most things, although it does set Bifrost up to potentially take the Tahm Kench.
Yeah.
Tahm Kench isn't something... I mean, it's good against the Thresh, but it's a neutralizer. I think is the big factor. So it's not going to do too much to threaten them unless Bifrost start to get a lead. But for now, Shackleton going to take the job, and this was banned away from him quite heavily in past weeks because he had that great game on it, and ever since, teams just haven't let him get it.
Well, what do Bifrost want to kind of pair up with this? Because we've seen quite a lot of good things that you can mix with the Jarvan over the years.
If you want Oh, with the Jarvan, I feel like you could take the Rumble here if you want to go for the Rumble mid for energy.
Yeah.
Potentially flex it up towards top lane. That works in this
Safe pick
situation.
even with the Orianna as well. You get the mixing bowl down.
Yeah, and they're going for the Nautilus, so this is a little bit interesting to me. It could go in the bot lane, and then if you're running fasting center, he can go like a more damage-heavy build, similar to what we saw from the Cho'Gath, and look to threaten Hoys. But it's a bit of an interesting one to me. It could still be a flex and go in the mid lane, but we're going to see Quinstance go for the Yorick. So already we have great neutralizers in the bot lane that also can function very well as your 3 in a 1-3-1 because Ziggs has a wave clear, Thresh has a safety, and then you have the 1. I mean, it potentially doesn't have to be a 1-3-1, it can be a 1-4. But the critical thing is that you have great wave clear, great safety, and then a great split pusher all ready for Coincidence. So Bifrost now, they have to be sort of asking themselves, what's going to be banned away? Aurelia already. What can we answer this Yorick with for Fiala so that you can survive the side lane? But the fact that they have Nautilus and Jarvan means they have a ton of engage potential, potentially punish while he is split pushing.
The Aurelia and the Anivia are going to get banned away here. Now, Anivia, a bit of an odd one. Maybe a bit of a target ban. There's the Camille. I forgot the name of the champion there. Camille also getting banned away by Bifrost. So they're kind of targeting out these top laners currently. Obviously, with the pick of the Yorick, it means they can look to try and deny things, but, you know, may do well into that. So what has been left open here for Bifrost? What do you think Fiala can pick up into this Yorick?
Honestly, it's pretty difficult. It's sort of what you want to take up in particular into that matchup. I feel like you could take something like... I feel like you might just want to take something that sort of beats him out in team fights rather than just in the individual matchup. Aurelia is sort of a pretty good go-to as you can dash through the ghouls and also can just beat him up in straight-up trades. Now see the Echo come in, potentially as a flex, but likely for Joachim. I feel like for Fiala, to beat the Yorick in the side lane, not many melee champions can do that when he does have the Maiden up. You could take Fiora potentially match, but I feel like from Bifrost comp already, you don't really want to be matching in the top lane in the split push. You want to be sort of forcing in the 4-man and have something that can hold against him. But you see the Corki come in the mid lane for energy, so a lot of scaling available and a lot of team fight potential. And we expect this Nautilus is going to be in the bot lane, so now it's a top laner for Fiala. What can they answer for the Yorick? I feel like it's a hard ask.
It's going to be a very, very hard ask. You never know, that Nautilus could go top lane. We had a Gragas top last game.
Gnar could actually be okay, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I feel Gnar would actually potentially work in this situation. Works well with the Jarvan, but they're going to go for the set instead. You do have the attack speed available to sort of punch through the wall when you're trapped in there. And he will hold his own formidably in the early game. It's just the later stages where things are a little bit difficult for you. When he has that Maiden available, he can just sort of do work on a split push.
Well, we're going to round out the comp here for the side of Dusty. Looking for something most likely to go bot lane. Do lock in the Karma. So that means Karma's going mid. They're going to send the Ziggs into the bot lane. Ziggs fresh lane. It means there's a lot of safety with the Satchel and also with the Lantern.
Yeah, I mean, we expected that to be the lane matchup in the bot lane. Ziggs normally is the one to go there, and Hoy's been playing it a lot. Them, they're putting on essentially just a mid laner to neutralize. So not too much pressure on him, but he will get outskilled massively by the Cork in the later stages. Although the big thing with Karma is not so much what you do in and of yourself in terms of damage, it's what you provide for your team. Adding the shields, adding the wave clear is a massive factor. But my concern for Bifrost is if they get to the later stages, there is potential if Hoy's absolutely pops off, but it's very hard to sort of team fight against the likes of a Senna and Corki, just because of how much DPS is going to be cutting through everyone. I feel like this is a composition for Dusty where they want to play early pressure, use their priority, and then play around the side lane to sort of come out ahead.
Well, the team comps are locked in here. A lot of teleports available to the side of Dusty. You got 3 Hoys, Dem, and on Coincidence. Obviously, pretty expected for the likes of for, to be honest, all of these champions, but a lot of global pressure available here to the side of Dusty. So you have to keep our eyes on where the action starts to break out. And I want to be tracking these junglers early because I think these two are going to be able to set up for success in these lanes. Now, do you think Shackle is going to look to try and shut down Coincidence and stop him from being that split pushing threat? Or do you think his attention is towards the bot lane, get Pedersen going and shut Hoysen only out?
I mean, I think you have a lot of options. You can even go mid potentially and punish them, the person who's been brought in, the off-roller, especially on the Karma. If you do burn that flash early, it's very easy to punish at level 6. I think the benefit here is Shackle sort of has 3 lanes that you could potentially look to attack, although I feel like Joe comes in a similar position. I don't think there's any lane that's necessarily bad to take, to try and look towards. Other than mid lane, it's pretty hard to do anything to a Corki. Obviously, has that Valkyrie available. But I think junglers is going to be the massive factor because both teams have a lot of scaling available to them. Dusty, it's more sort of focused around that side lane and the extended sort of poke that can be sort of put out by the Ziggs. We do have a pause, unfortunately, here where one of the players from Bifrost is lagging. So hopefully that'll sort out soon enough. But I feel like the sort of early stages of this game may well dictate this because we saw Hoyes come out massively ahead in the bot lane in the 2v2 on the Ziggs before, and that can just accelerate your scaling so much. And you have vulnerable carries on the side of Bifrost. If you get a fed Echo, if you get a fed Ziggs, they will be threatened. And then you also can have a fed Yorick who's going to be a massive threat in the side lane. So if anyone finds momentum on Dusty, Bifrost might struggle to match that. But if Bifrost are just able to scale up and then start forcing team fights, I think that's the area where they specifically just excel. Team fighting, if they can just find engages onto these critical members, the Ziggs, the Karma, even just finding the Thresh can be enough. They have so much damage available, so much sustained damage, and then a ton of engage.
It's a lot going on in this game, and I think the main thing we want to do is trap these junglers early. Like you said, the world is really their oyster. They can kind of look to set up in anywhere they please, and I'm going to keep my eyes on these junglers in these early games, in the early game of this game, to see how that's going. But let's take a little break as the teams are just pausing up. Hopefully it shouldn't be too long until we get back in. You've been in Sweden for a little while now.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite thing?
What do you mean favorite thing?
What's been your favorite thing about Sweden?
You know, it's going to sound weird. I actually really like the weather. We had snow a couple of weeks ago.
I know. I had to fly in it.
Yeah, it was so nice. We went walking. There's a park nearby. Me and my girlfriend who came to visit, we went walking in the snow. It was really nice. And we don't see that so much in the UK anymore, unfortunately. Thanks.
It's just been raining for like 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
You've missed all of it because you've been here for 6 weeks.
Exactly. It's perfect. That's what I love about Sweden. It's like, it's a little bit cold, but I like it cold.
From the north, mate. You're used to it. Yeah, I had to fly in that.
And the people as well. People are really friendly. I want to get my hair cut the other week, and the hairdresser was really nice. Showed me a nice hummus place nearby because I was talking about how I like hummus, so I went there. That was really good. It's just everyone's so friendly. They all speak English.
That's one of my favorite things about hairdressers. The conversations. It's just like it's just you have such weird conversations with hairdressers.
Yeah. Well, it was like the start of a joke because my hairdresser was American. There was another hairdresser who was Swedish, and then obviously I'm English, and then the other person getting the haircut was Ukrainian, and it was sort of like the start of a bad joke.
It was the start of a bad haircut, at least.
Oh, my haircut was okay.
Yeah, I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning on the snow, when it started snowing. I had to de-ice my plane.
You had to de-ice your plane?
Your
plane.
I got up to the plane as I was walking along the thing, and the pilot was standing there with his credit card. He's like, "Oh, mate, can you scrape off the windows for me?"
And you scraped it off with his credit card.
Do you never do that? When you know, on the way to school or something, you have to get your mum's credit card out and scrape the windows off for her?
No.
No?
She had we're in the north, so it's colder, so we're used to it.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
This is why England falls apart whenever there's like an inch of snow because of stuff like this. We're just not prepared.
We ended up eventually buying one of those window scrapers, but for a long time we just used credit cards or CD cases inside the cars.
That's either going to damage your windscreen or your CD case or credit card.
How brittle are your windows if a piece of plastic's going to ruin the window? The CD cases do get covered in snow, so they're useless, but it's fine.
Anyway, there's a game.
There is a game.
Things start off, so bot lane's going to be a little rough because playing into Ziggs, Thresh, trying to farm as a melee champion, not the most fun situation, but right now, Fowler trying to set up here on a Quinstance. He's going to trade heavily, which is just kind of debate Quinstance in and be like, look, I got no cooldowns. But Shackle's just waiting. I don't think he's been spotted.
Oh, he is playing with fire. Gets himself the flag, drag, flash, knock up. But it looks like Joachim's looking to answer out here. Finds himself a two-man stun in return. Fiala throws out the haymaker inside the pit as the minions are running him down. Now Shackle is looking for something onto Joachim. Slows him up with a W. Trying to get some damage back out. And looks like the Faye in the top lane is just going to chill out.
Yeah, and ultimately it's a flash-for-flash trade. But it's jungler for top laner, so we'll look to see how that gets punished and who that favors. Pedersen going to get pulled in here, but a little bit too tanky for you to really do anything to. But it's just making it hard for him to farm, the fact that they will get poked down. He does have a Doran shield to sort of help out with the sustain. It's essentially going to be a battle. Pedersen's HP, and I guess the mana of take set against the mana of poise, and how much poke you can put down. Now, ping's coming out, so this is a little bit risky. Shackle's going pretty aggressive here on Joachim.
Joachim actually just followed up there with a phase dive. Energy.
Yeah, you can't contest this. You don't have bot priority. You don't have flash. Shackle has to back away, and he will. A little bit greedy there, going for this second scuttle. He'd already got the top side one. And he doesn't lose much other than time and a bit of HP.
Yeah. Energy did roam down to make sure if anything did go awry, he was at least there. But for now, you're seeing a pretty big CS deficit starting up in the mid lane. 33 to 27, obviously equalizing out a little bit as this wave did just crash into them.
Yeah, but I mean, bot lane, Pedersen doing pretty well to keep up with the Ziggs so far in terms of farm. And I think this is one of the issues, is that Norlis, with that Doran shield available to him, pretty bulky, pretty hard to poke out, and then he has the healing from the center as well as a massive factor. And if he does end up running out of HP, he can just TP back in, and looks like we do have a DC.
He's just done with the game. You know what?
Didn't get 2 skulls, game's over.
Dinner's ready.
So ultimately, not too much come from the early stages so far. I think we saw that little bit of exchange in the top lane, and it's basically waiting to see which team punishes off that.
Yeah. Flash is down for sort of coincidence. Fiala still has his flash and teleport. Shackle's flash is down, but Joachim has his flash. So bit of a change around there. Looks like the ping problems are still continuing. So hopefully
we could see this game being quite a slow one, because both teams do have scaling elements. And I think that's the big difference, is that they both have champions who are great in the late game. Yorick great in the side lane in the later stages. Ziggs super powerful, especially if you have someone to lock them up. Has all that zoning power. Karma can be a massive utility champion in later stages, but I think the distinct difference between it is that Bifrost are going to excel in the team fights, whereas Dusty don't really want to opt into those unless they're ahead. I think you can kite them out if you find a favorable situation where, you know, they're running through Hoyse's bombs, or you're constantly Karma shielding and applying the poke, then yeah, sure. And you can potentially re-engage with Joachim with the parallel convergence. But I think ultimately this is a situation where in the later stages, Dusty will be looking to wave clear, poke, play around Quinstance, play around their zone control, whereas Bifrost just want to force fight after fight and be looking for these engages. I feel like the critical members here is really going to be not so much Hoyse, because Hoyse has shown he's really strong on the Ziggs and he has such a huge range. But I'm looking towards only 35 with the Thresh, with the Lantern. He could well be the difference maker in the later stages to provide safety to the team.
They get Joachim coming in as well. Has that flag and drag. Tries to jump forward. His first blood picked up for Only.
Yeah, just great little swift move there. Nice Lantern out for Only there. And they managed to take down Pedersen. And the critical thing is he is the one who wants to be farming. So him missing CS is pretty big. Oh,
that hook is insane. He's able to flash away from the Flay, but gets himself caught back and out. Pedersen looks to put some damage into Hoyse. Hoyse has to try and get some distance between him. Holds his flash crucially. Teleport burnt, takes its heal and flash burnt.
Takes that just caught out. Shouldn't have stepped up that hard. And you knew there was potential vulnerabilities. But Energy's going to come in with the TP here, but not really much to offer than some poke, and he actually takes a ton of damage there.
The tower just did all the damage back.
Yeah, and he just reset, so, I mean, he's going to pop his Corrupting Potion and head towards the mid lane. But ultimately, that is not the best use of TP I've seen recently.
No. Shackle headed up there, but looks like Coincidence is going to get zoned off for now, but now he's got Joachim with him. He's feeling very comfortable. And now he's got a teleport coming in. It looks like they're just backing up here. Fiala does have the ultimate. The speed up comes out from Dem as teleport used by Dem. So both of the mid lane is kind of blowing their teleports for nothing, but at least Dem holds his health and doesn't have to kind of reset.
Yeah, and Bifrost have really been targeting this top lane, wanting to shut down Quinston's before he gets going, denying his sort of getting to that point where he's going to be that split push threat. He now has the Maiden available, so it's pretty hard to trade into him aggressively until that one dies out. But Fiala, you can just keep poking it with your Haymaker consistently. You just have to be concerned if you get hit, you start to get drained for damage. Now, it doesn't hit set too much because he has all that inbuilt sustain. And Quinston's going to back his Maiden away before it takes any damage. Now, we do see the Hex Drinker come out for energy, mostly due to the fact that it's a triple AP across jungle, mid, I mean, just the whole bot side. Everyone but Quinston's is AP, so you can itemize pretty heavily in that regard. And I think in the late stages, it is going to make the likes of Pedersen and Shackle really tanky. I feel Pedersen potentially looking to build a ton of magic resist already. He's got Negatron Cloak. I think he's going to go towards Merc Treads next, and then potentially an Abyssal Mask, which will increase the damage of energy and his own. I think just the magic resist is going to get a huge amount of value until Quinston's is able to join into fights, which often as a Yorick isn't exactly what you're going to be looking to do.
Joachim hovering around this bot side hook. Just misses out on takes there, but that's the flash, that's the stun. Hoyes takes him out of a Mega Inferno Bomber. Now Pedersen trying to put some distance away, but he is taking so much damage. The Minefield is thrown out. The Time Winder is thrown out. Energy zoning down, seeing if he can try and help out his bot side map here. He has got the help of Shackle coming down as well. So that Flag and Drag's available, but no Cataclysm yet. Hoyes still got his flash as well, means he's nice and safe. Coincidence just farming the top side, took away the Croaks, took away the red buff.
And it's just a great gang. Great flash from Joachim to land the stun. Takes that, just wasn't ready for that situation again.
Yeah, they catch everything they need. Just flawless catch there. And Joachim's going to pick himself up the kill.
Just beautiful play from Joachim and Only, honestly. These two doing so much work together. And it's just a pleasure to see the setup from the Thresh in tandem with the great CC potential of an Echo. 2.25 seconds on that stun. It's hard to land, but when you're facilitating in these ways, it's working so effectively. And Bifrost, 1,500 gold and a dragon down already.
So Dem's just going to go for a base here. So 9 minutes on the clock. Gold lead heavily in favor of Dusty nice and early. They got that Ocean Drake as well. Maybe we'll see them try and put some priority towards this Rift Herald.
But a big factor
spawned up.
Big factor here is level 6.
Only just charges in.
Big factor here is now we have a level 6 available for Pedersen. So we have that huge engage potential of the depth charge, the damage as well. We have Take Set's ultimate available. Energy should be able to back and pick up a package soon. These are the playmaking tools that Bifrost can use to try and get themselves back in the game. And Shackle right now, he is looking. Energy has the package so he can assist very quickly.
Yeah, but Shackle's just going to get insta-chunked out by Hoyes.
Yeah, so you got to be careful about against the Ziggs. And even when Bifrost potentially want to take a fight, there's no guarantee that Dusty will give it to them because they have so much disengage, so much zone control that they're able to use. Does make things very hard about finding the fight you want to have, although Bifrost do have a lot of tools to potentially look for that.
Energy just catching this wave in the mid lane. Is up in CS still. 10 CS deficit currently.
But them doing well, you know, all things considered. He's holding up pretty solidly and has been given a sort of passive lane matchup and playing the Karma as well. A lot of tools to give you that element of safety, but so far been doing fine. And Wave's in a really rough position here, but it is going to shove in towards Bifrost, but for now they're just getting zoned off. Not really able to do much to contest the minions, especially since Pedersen is melee and has to step up so far to try and CS. But Hoyes and Only 35 doing a great job of just denying as much as they can. And now Shackle going to take the scuttle and clear out this control ward, but Joachim is on that side of the map, so in position to contest this if he wants to. But the priority, that is the thing that is in his favor. So Fiala already moved. It looks like they're going to try challenge Energy here. Just have his flash.
Yeah, can just try him out there, but not going to get the parallel convergence off. Looking just to shove in the wave here for them as Shackle's going to continue onto this Rift Herald. Coincidence kind of stuck underneath his tower. Looks like they're just going to give up this objective. Look for maybe something towards this dragon and towards the bot side of the map. This could just be a few plates given over to the likes of Fiala now. Shackle will pick that up.
And we'll be looking to see how the Herald is used, what advantages they can give. You can see the pings coming out. They are aware that Joachim is hovering here. I believe he's taking the red at the moment. That gives him a lot of control, potentially threatening these plates. Ziggs is a great tower take it with his passive short fuse and the satchel as well. Pedersen looks for the hook but doesn't connect, and now they're looking for the engage.
Oh, this could be the dive. Joachim finds himself the sun, the Mega Inferno bomb into the hook. Dawning Shadows is going to get thrown out here for the moment as energy gets interrupted. The CC's layered down onto Only. Only throws out the box, uses himself the stopwatch, and Joachim looks to chase over. Only holds his life for the moment. Another parallel convergence gets thrown out as energy uses the package to move backwards towards his team. And Dusty, they go for the play. They burn a lot from Bifrost, but do not find a single kill for themselves.
And you could see, if you were looking at the minimap, Fiala was rushing at Coincidence, potentially looking to stop that TP, but ultimately decides against it, or potentially wasn't in range to do so. But either way, he instead looks to pressure this tower. Now down 3 plates, so a massive amount of gold in his pocket. But in return, Dusty pick up the second dragon. It's going to be an Infernal Soul.
And my worry is when this Rift Herald comes down, it could just get used topside for first Herald Blood, and Bifrost could claw back some of this gold deficit that way. Is now sitting at a 1,700 gold lead to the side of Dusty currently. Luden's Echo finished up into Hoist, so he's going to have really solid wave clear.
It's really going to come down to this Herald, because right now Dusty are a big advantage over Bifrost. They have the 2 dragons as well as that. So normally you can end up trading dragons over for Herald. You lose a little bit in the early game, but having those dragons denies the soul, secures you a sort of later win condition.
And he's going to try and get the eye, but he's not going to hit it in time. The
gold
charge
does
comes
go
down.
over, though, for the plates. Ultimately, they get the first tower. They get reward from that. So Bifrost able to equalize some of that gold discrepancy, but not all of it. And this is the issue, because Dusty are feeling confident about their scaling. They picked up those 2 dragons. It means that Bifrost are a long way away from getting a soul. And sure, they have big scaling elements in the Senna, in the Corki. But I'm still a little bit concerned, because if the execution's off, you will get punished. And this Ziggs is just so strong right now and just going to get stronger.
Shackle's looking for him. Hoist does have himself the flash, doesn't even use it, just gets the satchel out. Now with the slow from the zone coming down, only gets himself a flayback. Mega Inferno Bomb is going to get dodged out by Fiala as he uses the showstopper. Haymaker's out, but it's not going to be enough, and Joachim finds the kill. What a hook by Only. Hoist finds another one in return, and Dusty get 2 kills.
Just great play coming out from Dusty, really performing in these skirmishes, and that's been the difference maker so far. There haven't been too many decisions I've massively disagreed with from Bifrost, but they just haven't been performing when it came down to it. Satchel isn't quite close enough to take it down. They need to push one more wave in, throw another passive in from Ziggs, and then they can just finish that one off. And it's so easy when you have some alone time with a tower just to destroy it as Ziggs.
Yeah, Ziggs able to pop open that tower.
If we can have a look at the gold of individual members, we can now see this Ziggs super fed at almost 6,000. And sure, you can obviously say that the Nautilus isn't going to have as much gold because you're melee champion, and you've got to factor in that the Senna is getting extra income from the souls. But it's still just so disheartening to see how strong this Ziggs is.
Even Only is ahead. So even if you were thinking of take set as a supportive role, so to speak, Only's still ahead in gold.
The extra gold factor in from the souls.
Yes.
The value from them is what I'm trying to present. But still, yeah, it's massively disheartening. Hoyes is super strong right now. He's got the Ludens and more at 15 minutes in the game, so his poke is extremely threatening. And the thing is, Bifrost has very small windows as a result to engage. If you mess it up, if you misplay the engage and don't find an avenue to punish him, you will just get taken down.
Oh, good stun comes out, followed up by the hook. Only on fire on the fresh right now. Pedersen is going to flash away from the Mega Inferno Bomb. Box gets thrown out. So does the Dawning Shadow. So much used by Bifrost just not to die. The Gargoyle Stoneplate did buy some time there for Pedersen.
Actually, a Gargoyle Stoneplate rush coming out from Pedersen, so a more supportive build. I was wondering if we'd see a little bit more damage like we did typically from the mid lane Nautilus with the Proto Bell, or potentially even the Abyssal Mask. But we're just seeing almost a supportive Nautilus that isn't going to be doing too much more damage than your standard support Nautilus would.
Energy uses the package as he does take himself the mists, and Joachim waiting in that wings.
Things did come out though, and Only's now coming down. I think they're very aware that there's a set hide in this bush.
Yep, Only has found him out for the moment, gets himself the flay off, uses the showstopper into the maiden, into the shovel. Parallel conversions for a bit of a shield onto Joachim, and Fiala will fall as Joachim actually jumps onto energy to get a little bit more damage off of that Time Winder. 46 seconds until the dragon spawns as well. That's perfect timing there for Dusty.
And it's an Infernal Soul, which, of all the dragons, that one is the one that stings the most when it's on a 6. It's just so oppressive. The extra burst, extra poke, the extra AoE.
I mean, the one nice thing is something you've hit on a few times is at least like you have less zone control when playing into a Ziggs, because of obviously the map burns down terrain, so you have less.
So it's easier if you're behind for a team to push in. So I think particularly for Bifrost, it's going to be around the Baron area.
Yes.
Because that terrain is cut away. If Ziggs throws his mines down, normally you have to take a really long path round to get into the river. But because that terrain's been removed, it's quite a bit easier to sort of push through by just taking a shorter route. So there is that advantage. But right now, Dusty are looking towards getting their 3rd dragon. If they get the soul, I just feel like this game's over. It's really hard to contest that one on the Ziggs because the burst is insane. Shackle's potentially looking, and it seems like they want to contest that. But Fiala, he has TP. And wait to see if he brings this one in to see whether they just want to try and steal it or actually fight.
They might be looking for the steal here, but that's going to be the secure. Instantly into the hook, instantly into the demise of Shackle. One off soul point. We're 18 minutes on the clock, and Dusty has solid control of this game right now.
Just a massive discrepancy right now. It takes like a chunk.
Mega Inferno Bomb as well, Only looking for the hook. The Meteor's big, the hook's not wide enough, but Joachim finds himself the assassination. Chronobakes out of there, and Dusty get themselves a kill. And they're now looking for turrets in the bot lane. They could go for Rift Herald on the top side if they want. It's just going all Dusty right now.
Yeah, they are crushing this game, and this is the form we've started to see recently from Dusty. Even without Legions in the mid lane, they're able to perform so well here. Only 35, and Joachim have just been absolutely stellar in this one on the Thresh and the Echo, and it sets their carries up for success. Demba's had a relatively free lane. He's able to be this powerful Karma who has the great shielding in the later stages, and then Hoyes is just absolutely monstrous right now.
Teleporting onto Coincidence here. He flashes over the wall, Pedersen looking for him. Shackle got that flag and drag, uses the blast cone, but Coincidence is pretty quick with the help of I don't know what. He's just fast.
Speed, maybe?
Oh, Triforce, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Tier 2 boots into Tier 2 boots.
Right-clicking in the right direction also helps. And they're trying to engage on this.
He's a speedy Gravedigger.
They're trying to engage on this Ziggs Thresh, but it's very difficult because you have the Satchel, you have the Play, you have the Lantern, and right now all Hoyes needs to do is just shove mid, and that's it. Just shove mid, do your thing. Dem will hold top lane, Quinstance will hold bot, and Dusty are feeling confident just playing towards this next dragon, because when that dragon comes up, you can see Bifrost were not willing to fight it. They have to fight this next one, because if they just try and steal and they lose it, game's going to be extremely rough. You can potentially see Dusty just turning straight on a Baron after that.
Them just kind of playing soak up Fiala's pressure at the moment.
He's doing the off-roll job. That's what I do when I'm off-roll.
What, play Karma and just
No, not Karma. Just play something that's just going to scale reasonably well and help the team is the main thing. Play something that's going to help the team, like, you know, your Malphite tops and stuff. Just don't int. Catch waves. Do your job and let your teammates carry them. Right now, Hoyes, Joachim, massive amounts of AP available to them. Huge amount of damage. You see the Leandries coming in for Hoyes. Makes it extremely difficult. That burn going to do great against all this beefy front line, and also just when you're consistently hitting spells, you get that madness ramp up. It's going to do a ton of damage. And I think it's definitely the right call here. We recently might have seen a video comparing Morellonomicon to Leandries. Isn't a ton of healing on Bifrost. There's a bit, not a ton I wouldn't say. No Soraka's, no Vladimir's. Critically, there's already a lot of magic resist already picked up for Bifrost, so the flat pen loses a lot of value, even if you're thinking of just going for the Oblivion Orb. So, always agree with his item choices so far.
Then making sure this tower doesn't fall either. Roaming around the map, clearing it out, and it feels like Bifrost just waiting to try and get some more items onto energy, some more souls onto take set.
Problem is they have a minute and a half.
Yeah.
That's it.
I was just about to transition that into, but Dusty, they're waiting for this dragon, and they are just going to get a mid lane turret as well while they're waiting, so
Not a ton you can do against that.
helps them get some more pressure around this area, as they've still got their tier 1 up in bot and mid. So the kind of bot side of the map where they're looking to play around, them's moving forward and just clearing out some of this vision. I would like to see the resets come through, buy up some control wards, place them down, get some vision control around the area. For now, it's just a matter of gaining control around this red side of the jungle. You can see some wards already being placed down a little deep into the side of Bifrost jungle. And 50 seconds until this Infernal Drake's spawning. Only he's been to base, bought himself the Knight's Vow. Got double null magic mantle as well.
And it's very difficult. If you don't have vision, you're going to be phase checking into potentially a Ziggs, into potentially an Echo with a parallel convergence. You're just going to take so much damage at the back of that. I feel like a fight's really hard to take right now, but I don't think Bifrost can give over an Infernal Soul to Dusty.
A 22-minute Infernal Soul would be very hard to deal with onto a fed Ziggs.
On a Ziggs. I mean, he's essentially just going to be able to ult take set, and take set will die. Just 100-0. Basically, close enough once he gets a Rabadon's available to him.
And it's like killing him even if he doesn't, because he can't fight at that point.
Yeah, I mean, he has a bit of sustain, but it's still really doomed. Now, Energy does have the package, so he has that available as an extra tool here. And I think they're going to strong arm some mid-priority and try and push through the river, which they need to do because they can't push through
looking for the stun. Throws out the Time Winder. Doesn't actually follow up too much more. Dem holding his own here. Obviously got the Scuttle Zone.
But remember, the big factor here is even if Bifrost secure this dragon, it's just an Infernal Dragon.
Yeah.
To Bifrost, it means very little. To Dusty, it means a lot. And that is the difference here. That's why it's so threatening to let team get to 3 dragons. Now, Bifrost re-established the control of mid-priority. Gonna try pushing again. Package comes in for a little bit of a flank from Energy. And it looks like the fight is brewing.
Yeah, they're looking to try and find something here. That's going to be the stun onto a couple of members. Already jumping into the backline. The railgun has been used. Hoyes is being zoned away from the fight for the moment, but only just able to put out these hooks, put out this damage as Pedersen gets himself flayed back. Energy being zoned away for the moment. Hoyes still got a lot of health to work with. A double kill has been picked up for the side of Takes It already though, and the health bars are just exceptionally low. Out comes the Haymaker for the moment. Coincidence, Dem and Hoyes keeping them zoned, keeping them in control of the area. The Mega Inferno Bomb has been used and the Infernal Drake being reset here for the moment. Looks like the bases are coming forward, and it looks like they're just going to have to give this objective up, although Coincidence and Hoyes don't want to give it up quite yet. They're teleporting in for a fight. Infernal Soul denied by Bifrost.
It's a great fight from them. The engage just bunched them all together. The ultimate from Takeset came in doing a ton of damage. And ultimately, Dusty, they wanted space, they wanted kiting, they wanted zone control. It loses out to the team fighting power of Bifrost. They get 2 kills on the board, they get that Infernal, and they deny that Soul.
I think the key thing as well was Takeset and Energy were so far apart from each other that you couldn't get the Hoyes AoE damage onto both of them. They kept themselves split up and they were a nuisance on either side of the fight.
And that's the critical thing with the Ziggs. If they're not held in place, it can be quite hard to consistently get the damage out in team fights. Zone control, sure, you throw down your satchels, hitting frontline, again, fine. You can easily get damage on a Fiala, Shackle, and Pedersen. But getting damage onto Energy and Take Set is actually pretty hard for this composition of Dusty unless Joachim and Quinstance are doing it, or if they get CC to overstep. And only 35 did his job, but wasn't able to find any CC on an Energy in that one. And that sort of gave them the freedom to team fight.
So Coincidence still going to steal away this red buff, but Fiala has found him out here. Blasco means he's going to be nice and safe.
Now, despite that great fight from Bifrost, despite the hope being back, they're still down in gold.
Yes.
They're still 1 dragon away from an Infernal Soul, and the 4% AP and AD isn't going to drastically change things, but it is a good omen for Bifrost. It's showing that they still have a possibility to contest this one, It's not completely over. We do see some big spikes coming in. The Dust Blade from Takes Out, a lot of lethality there. You got to try for some energy with the BF sword as well. Stone Plate for Shackle. And we do see the Abyssal Mask now coming out from Pedersen to provide the extra shred on his own damage and energies as well. This is the other concern here, is the split push threat potentially off Coincidence. Something we talked about as a win condition for Dusty, and it has been several times. Now we do see pause come through, unfortunately.
Hopefully it won't be too long until we get ourselves sorted out on that front.
Looks like it's once again going to be a DC. Shackle having some internet issues. Definitely not what you want when your jungler is the big factor coming around these Baron points. So right now we see Energy pretty far ahead. And just taking a look at the gold. Still, Hoy is just far and above.
He's so far ahead. It's insane.
And for it being a Ziggs, he's at 10,700. The closest is Energy's at 9,600. But it's just there's so much gold in this Ziggs. And there's a huge shutdown. If you kill Ziggs, you get 900 gold because it's a 600 bounty and then the 300 as well. So that's going to be the key element. Can they punish the Ziggs? Hoy's is flashless right now.
You can see that Hoy's is currently basing as well. And that's the Void Staff finished up for him. He's got 1,300 gold. So he's got literally almost the perfect amount. Just a little bit over. But he's going to go back, get himself up his Void Staff.
And that makes things more difficult because right now we saw, well, what I said was that he can consistently hit the front line. That's super easy to do in Ziggs. Just throw consistent rotations. Your bouncing bomb is on a short cooldown. So you can just chain that, especially it'll be 30% CDR now because we run a Transcendence as well. And with the Void Staff, you can actually cut through this front line pretty effectively. Now, if Energy and Takeset aren't able to put out that DPS consistently, and Corki really isn't at this point. He doesn't do a ton of sustained damage on these spikes. His rockets hurt, sure. He has great Triforce burst, sure, but he's not at that sort of crit point of the Corki. He has no crit available to him yet. And as a result, he isn't going to be pumping out insane DPS. And now this is a point where it might be a bit concerning because if Fiala, Shackle, or Pedersen oversteps...
Takes it's dead.
Yeah, I think Hoy's pressed R.
I'm kind of sad I missed that. Does get stunned, but throws out the grab before, so he's able to jump away. Go watch that. Go see what happened. I'll talk about what's going on our screens here for the moment, because Dusty now I'm going to be able to step up without takes it there. Fiala's taking a bit of a scrap here versus Coincidence. Coincidence coming out for the better end here. Throws down the Haymaker, and Joachim just chases into him. Showstopper gets used, and with the Time Winder and the Chrono Break, Joachim's able to get himself out of there. That's going to be 2 turrets down here for the side of Dusty. We got a Lantern to get Coincidence out of there as well, and it's looking pretty rough. There's 1 minute 40 until this Infernal Soul comes up. And all things coming up by Dusty.
Well, I went on my computer and tried to replay it to watch it, and it crashed.
Oh.
So I went on your computer to try and replay it to watch it, and it crashed.
Okay, well, we don't have computers.
So I'm assuming only 35 walked up, flayed, press R, boom, dead. But that's all we can know from the situation. Ultimately, just showing this pressure off this Yorick in the side lane is going to become more and more severe as the game goes on. Joachim goes for a nice play to finish it off. Does manage to get away. Dusty's still ahead quite significantly, especially getting those kills in the pocket. And a lot of towers down. It makes it difficult to move in. As I said, one of the advantages of this Infernal Soul map is because the terrain is cut, it gives you a much easier rotation between those 2 entry points into the Baron. If it wasn't Infernal Soul map, Ziggs Minefield would be so oppressive. It still is. It's a little bit less. But 40 seconds on this Dragon. Again, Soul for Dusty. It's going to be like this all game until one of them gets it.
And then it's Elder.
Yeah.
Which is also rough, especially into Hoy's at this point. 277 CS, a 700 gold shutdown available to him. So if Bifrost can find it onto the likes of maybe Takes It, maybe Energy, ideally Energy, there's so much gold that they can just inject into one of their carries.
Yeah, I mean, Energy is at a big point now. He's got the Triforce and the Infinity Edge. So a lot of burst, especially if he gets that crit. But they burn the package. That's actually a big factor here, because I think Energy was saving that for the Dragon fight, because it's so powerful, especially with the recent buffs, If you W through, anyone knocked aside gets burnt for a second and a half. So burning that, massive factor. It's getting started up, but it looks like Dusty potentially posturing.
Looking for the poke here from those rockets for the moment. Please. Half mana, so doesn't really want to overspam in case he runs out of mana before this all starts out. But Hook does come down through the minefield. A lot of damage to be followed up as the railgun gets thrown down. That's going to be the bomb onto the back line. Does a little bit of damage, but not much. As only actually falls here. Shackle getting chunked out, though, by the likes of Joikin, by the likes of Hoyes. He has to get this flag and drag to steal this away. But that is going to be the dragon secured. Inferno Soul has been picked up by Dusty. A massive haymaker will cut through the members, but Dusty, they hold up fast. And now they're looking to run members down. Joikim uses the chrono break to get some health back. And it looks like Dusty just looking to base away here for the moment.
They got the dragon. They got what they wanted. They have the Infernal Soul, and they win the fight as well with the 2-for-1. It wasn't a massive lead, but they reset now. They can head straight towards that Baron and potentially set up control of it. And if you're face checking into this team, you're likely just to get blown up. So much damage on Hoyes, and it's now amplified by this. So Takeset's going to stay and get the mid tower. It's a small consolation prize. And actually, double TP coming in.
Yeah, they're actually just looking to punish here for this players. Takeset uses the mist, and Joikim just looking to chase. That bomb does so much damage. Joikim with a phase drive secures the kill.
And the big thing is, 45 seconds till that ult is available again. Now, with Takeset down, the ward's unavailable. They're going to head straight over the Baron. They got Quinstance here, throwing down the Maiden to tank it. And it's up to Bifrost if they want to contest this one. They are looking, and they're going via mid lane, so they don't have to contest those choke points, but
bomb's already on half cooldown.
It's so low already.
It's already being cut down. The hook comes out. Coincidence jumps onto Shackle. Shackle can't get his way out. The Baron's been picked up, and now the fight is on. Hey, Showmaker does get used here for the moment, but Fiala is just taken down. A double kill for Joikim already, as another one gets picked up by Hoyes. Energy, the only one standing.
And Energy trying to do so much. It's his backline threat, but there's just not enough damage to cut through them. He did manage to get that kill on a Dem. He got only 35 low, but low isn't dead. Right now they're pushing up mid lane. It just takes that Energy to try and contest for another 10 seconds. I think you just have to give this tower over.
What's this? They're looking to jump forward. The bomb onto Takeset is big, but not enough to get a kill, but enough to zone him away. That'll be the end of the inhibitor. They've got Maiden, they've got Baron away, but they don't want to overcommit, don't want to overstay. So they're going to step back, spend some gold, because Hoyes should be closing in on that death cap at this point.
Yeah, they have a ton of money to spend now. They're in a really comfortable position. I think Hoyes is staying a little bit longer to get that gold so that he can buy his death cap. It's a massive spike. Blue buff's up and available, so you can take that one. But ultimately, right now, Dusty looking super strong. There's a little bit of a blip around that team fight on the fourth dragon, but they managed to bring it back, and it just feels so difficult for Bifrost to contest, especially since Hoyes got that Void Staff. It feels like the front line is just like butter to him, and Takeset and Energy just aren't able to do enough. Takeset especially doesn't feel very significant at all. It's like his ult does damage, and that's what it is. It's more sort of the healing he offers. Energy is strong, but you're not really pumping out enough damage to take over the game at this point.
Yeah, just got that Zero. Wants to finish up at least a rapid fire cannon for kind of a major spike on the Corki, but the problem is Hoyes is spiked so hard at the moment.
4 items is the big one for Corki. When you sort of have that 75% crit, that's where you're really pumping out a ton of sustained damage. But I don't even think he's going to be able to get to that one, especially not before that Baron. He's going to have to sort of sit on 3.5 with a Hex Drinker. But for now, Quinstance with the Baron buff, with the Maiden available, just going to start chunking out these towers with Hoyes there to help.
Yeah, and Hoyes, you know, just one item of full items. Still got that stopwatch as well, along with flashes. Phase Dive jumps in there. They're going to throw out the showstopper, but zips back out with the chrono break. Pedersen is low, but a good railgun will keep him shielded up for the moment. But Joikim jumps in forward. Turret's going to go down. Joikim needs to be a little careful, but they do get the hook onto the backline. That's going to be the big cataclysm to lock them in place. But already, members are falling left, right, and center. Dusty have a massive wave to work with, have a massive amount of damage to throw down here, and Hoyes is the one pumping it out for them. They're trying to put the damage down as they're going to drop the package out onto of them do find themselves something here. Energy is trying his best to make a miracle happen. Hoyes is chasing for him as he will cut him down. A quadra kill has been picked up, but it's not going to be the penta as the bomb will go down. Goes a little bit wide. Is it dust in their eyes?
Oh,
no, it's Dusty in their base. The ace comes down and Hoyes finds the kill.
Huge game there, and Energy did his best at the last moment to get a quadra kill at the end, but it just wasn't enough. Hoyes untouchable that game. He is so good on this Ziggs, and I feel like it's at the point where you need to start banning away, because this is a pick that scales extremely well. It has great wave clear, great utility in the fact that you can put so much zone control down, but he crushes early. He's just consistently coming out ahead lane, and in fairness, Joachim did play around him, but just a super strong performance from this team. It was a composition where I was like, you know, maybe if they opt into the team fights and they misplay it, if they're behind, if they're even, the engage potential of Bifrost could set them up. But ultimately, that never really happened. There was that one where they struggled to find momentum. But for the most part, Hoyes just monstrous on his Ziggs. And I think, gotta say, only 35 and Joachim really set things up. Those two were playing so well.
Those two basically were the facilitators to let Hoyes get to that spot, because he had that constant kind of pressure early coming out from Joachim, helping in the bot lane. Hoyes' hooks were just insanely good that game.
I just love seeing the Echo Thresh combos. Like whenever he sets up the parallel convergence, lanterning him in, and then getting that 2.25 second stun. And it really felt like for the whole game, Bifrost were on the back foot. Yeah, which is a bit unfortunate. They had the Jarvan who got obviously offered early pressure. I was hoping with this Nautilus in the bot lane, they would look to find engages there. It just didn't come out ultimately. And Bifrost, that was a needed win, in all honesty. Every win at this point is needed. They're now 4-7. And Dusty have sort of cemented themselves at the upper end. They're 7-4. If they get an 8th win, that's them. They've got playoffs.
Yeah.
For sure. But they're pretty likely as of now. But if they get an 8, then it's in the bag.
Every win is important here in the Nordic Championships as we are drawing closer and closer to the playoffs and towards that final run. Now, we're going to cut to a quick break. And when we're back with Hillerod taking on Team Singularity. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a second.